Hello, I'm Jim, and welcome to Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast. This podcast is an exploration of a rich history, the stories and memories of those who made and make Rallying in America so great. Enjoy the show. This week, we welcome Nic Schneiderman from the University of Northwestern Ohio, a third-year student studying High Performance Automotive Technologies. Nic talks about how he got into rally, crewing for the last year and a half, and how great his UNOH experience has been. Nic, thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime.
Yep. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're going to school right now?
Well, I'm currently attending the University of Northwestern Ohio for High Performance Automotive Technologies. Right now, I'm in my third year, and I graduate this October, so I'm almost there.
Awesome. What are your plans after graduation?
After graduation, I'm hoping to start working in rally full-time. There's a few teams I'm looking at that'll hopefully pick me up after I graduate. So, yeah.
How many students would you say is in your major for the high performance?
That's a really good question. I'd say rough estimate, probably around between 200 and 400 maybe.
Oh, okay. Awesome. When you first started at school, did you know rallying was, getting into rally, was that your goal from the get-go, or did it change as you...
No, actually. I knew about rally. Actually, when I graduated high school is when I first found out about Southern Ohio, which is my home rally. So I went and spectated that. Mm-hmm. And then I went to college, and I was honestly just planning on either going to a shop or high performance, like tuning shop, something like that.
Got it.
And then I started getting more into rally and started crewing more, and that's kind of when I decided, this is what I'd like to do for my career.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, and it looks like rally is a good time to get into it because it looks like it's growing substantially. Maybe not at a rapid pace, but it's definitely growing. So looks like it's good timing.
Yeah, I've been saying that for a while now since I started. The more I've kind of seen how much the sport's been growing, I've been like, this is a really good time to get into it because it's still small enough where most people could just kind of get into it and start crewing right out of the gate. It's not really like NASCAR or F1 yet, where it's really hard to make those connections.
Right, correct. So you said you had been crewing before. How far back did you start? Is it just in the last few years, or?
I've only been crewing for about a year and a half right now. Okay. My first rally that I crewed for was Snowdrift last year for Mike Cessna with FH Motorsports. And they kind of just threw me right in because I ended up helping out with a engine swap overnight, right before the rally started.
Oh, wow. So, it's kind of trial by fire to just changing it, do an engine swap.
Yeah.
So they probably saw that you were, pretty capable and.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a great time. Mike Cessna texted our team chat right before I left to go up to Michigan. He was like, I pulled the drain plug and there's metal shavings in it, so we could either run this engine and hope it doesn't blow up on us, or we could swap one in while we're out there. And we were all just kind of like, well, let's swap one in. Let's see what happens.
Right. That's pretty cool. So you've done, if I'm not mistaken, from our previous chat, you've done Snowdrift, Southern Ohio, Boone, Over Mountain. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I also did Sandblast, Ojibwe, and LSPR. And this year I was just at 100 Acre Wood for the first time.
Oh, very cool. So, anything crazy happen other than doing that engine swap? Has it been pretty smooth, or
Uh,
have you run into any major issues?
I wish I could say it's been smooth, but as most things with rally go, and
Yeah.
wasn't. My second rally of the season last year, Southern Ohio, I was with Mike Cessna again. And on the Yaktangi jump, we completely destroyed our oil pan.
Oh, wow.
So that was another overnight fix we had to do because on those E36s, you have to drop the entire front subframe to remove the oil pan. So that was a good sleepless night. Ended up doing service the next day just off no sleep. I was probably awake for almost 30 hours.
Seems kind of crazy, but yeah, that is rally. Seems like it's the norm.
Oh yeah,
for a lot of teams, and it's amazing how much a team depends on their crew for repairs and getting things done, and help them focus on driving and co-driving. So.
Yep, that's basically it. We just try to take as much stress and load off the driver and co-driver as possible and just do our job to the best of our abilities so they could just get out there and race.
Let's go way back. So how did you first get into cars and motorsports?
Well, I first got into cars through my old man. He was a master tech my whole life, and he was basically running a shop out of our garage. So I was always around him when he was doing work.
Okay, nice.
And we were a NASCAR family growing up. So the motorsport aspect didn't really interest me as much, just because I wasn't the biggest NASCAR fan. And then once I got into high school, started driving, started meeting some other people in my high school who also liked cars. They kind of put me on to more road racing, stuff like that. And then I kind of found rally through my own way. And basically all throughout high school, I was just watching old VHS footage of 70s, 80s, and 90s rallies. And that really...
Oh, yeah, very cool. Those are a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, that really got me interested. And I didn't even know we had a scene in America until I graduated high school and saw an advertisement for Southern Ohio. And I didn't think anything of it. I thought it was just going to be a more smaller, more grassroots type thing. And then when I got out there to spectate, I saw VSC, I saw Ken Block, Hoonigan, all those guys were there, and I was like, whoa, like what's going on here?
Right.
So that's really when I started following ARA and just trying to learn more about it.
That's right. Yeah. That's fun. It's fun to watch because growing up, I would do the same and watch the old rally footage and look at some of the magazines and that. It wasn't until a couple years ago that I got back into it, and it was because I went to STPR and seeing Ken Block and Travis Pastrana and those, it like kind of refueled that love of just cars and motorsports. So yeah, it doesn't take much.
No, it doesn't.
If you're the right kind of person and you just go to one rally, it's like you're hooked.
Yeah.
So what was your first car?
Oh, my first car. It's not very exciting. My first car was a 2006 Buick LaCrosse. Oh
yeah, okay.
Yep, just big boat. It had the I think it was the Series 3 3800 in it, so I beat the hell out of that car. I was not too nice to it. It could do front wheel drive burnouts, and I would left foot brake around corners, get the
Okay.
brakes hot.
Oh, that's
So I
fun.
I had my fun with it.
Yeah, that sounds that sounds like a blast. And it's kind of like when you get your first car, you kind of
Oh
see
yeah.
what your limitations are as well as your car's limitations are.
Yep. Yeah, and I wasn't too interested in working on cars or being into cars as much as my dad tried until I
Mm-hmm.
started driving and working on my own car, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. I
Yeah.
understand it.
So with a family that like NASCAR, did you travel to a lot of the races, or just were they just fans and?
They were just fans. Every year my dad and my grandpa would go up to Michigan for that NASCAR race,
Okay.
and they took me once when I was younger, and I was not the biggest fan of it. But yeah, they would my dad every Sunday he would always have it on the TV.
Gotcha. Yeah. Um, that's pretty cool. For me, growing up, my dad was not into cars at all. So
Hmm.
Sundays it usually meant he'd watch golf and fall asleep on the couch. So,
Yep.
and then you change the channel and he'd wake up and say, "Hey, I was watching that." We'll be right back. Power up your ride. Daily driver, bike, or track beast with Melee Design Firm. Since 2018, Melee has been the go-to source for high-performance battery mounts and power solutions trusted by enthusiasts and professionals alike. Whether you're carving corners on the weekend, commuting to work, or chasing podiums, they have the gear to keep you powered and ready. Their lightweight universal battery mounts are engineered for performance, crafted with precision, and designed to handle whatever you throw their way. They don't just make and sell parts, they build confidence under the hood. Rugged, industrial, functional. That's the Melee difference. Join thousands of satisfied drivers who refuse to settle for stock. Upgrade your battery game today. Now back to the show. Can you tell us a little bit more about UNOH and some of the studies that you've done?
Uh,
And
yeah. They're a great school for making connections and just furthering knowledge for working on cars. You do a lot of diagnostic work, and
mm-hmm.
it's honestly really helpful for troubleshooting, identifying problems, really just seeing what the car is doing and kind of going off that to figure out what's wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
And more on the high performance section of it, you learn a lot about suspension tuning, like
Mm-hmm.
doing this to a car is going to make it act like this, and it's really 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 helpful for setting up a car and tuning. And we also study engine machining and tuning,
Oh
and
wow, okay.
yeah, yeah, they really just cover everything across the board to kind of get you ready for getting a career, and it's super nice and helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like it. So do you take any basic classes like welding and things like that as well?
Yeah, we at least for my program, we learn TIG welding and oxy welding,
Very nice.
and they have all of the, if you're in high performance, you have to do all of the basic automotive classes as prereqs for the more advanced classes. So you take just basic electrical, you take brakes, manual transmissions, automatic transmissions, and just basic engine repair stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, that seems to be just from my observation. I could be completely wrong, but with rally, the crew tend to know a lot of different things. So you have to know every aspect of that car in and out. But when you see large teams like a NASCAR F1, and again, I could be wrong, it just seems that that one individual has that one specialty and that's all they focus on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So with rally, you could be doing suspension, then you can hop on and work on the turbo and
Yeah, for sure. And that's actually the biggest difference I noticed
hmm
because when I saw, not Southern Ohio, Snowdrift was my first, that was my first motorsports event that I crewed in.
hmm
And yeah, I was basically doing everything, had to kind of know a little bit of everything about the car, depending on what was going on. And then after that, I went through my school to get on a NASCAR ARCA team, and I did
Oh,
some
cool.
work. I did some work in that sector last year as well,
hmm
and that was the first thing I noticed. I was like, "Oh, this isn't really even working on the car. It's just kind of you have one job, and that's your job. You let someone else take care of something else." So,
Right.
and that was, I think that was the biggest put off for me
hmm
when I was in ARCA because I figured I would give it a chance. You know, I like working on cars. I love all types of motorsports, but they don't really they don't really need like an all around mechanic. You know.
And it's a lot of in most motorsports. It's a lot of standing around and waiting.
Hmm.
So I'm sure for me, the anticipation of okay, um, the driver or co-driver might communicate back what's going on, but I'm sure there's got to be a million things going through your head. Like okay, it could be
Oh,
this, or this. So there's a lot of concentration you have to have and troubleshooting. It's problem solving, you know.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of problem solving and making some very educated guesses because yeah, it's about an hour of sheer boredom and then 30 to 45 minutes of pure chaos when they come back.
Right.
And it's even worse when you get a call or text from one of them saying, "Hey, we're broken down on stage. Sweep had to pull us out." So now you're really thinking what could have gone wrong with the car.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah. It. I don't have that brain because I'm very slow and methodical. So I'm sort of restoring a car, and it's taken me 3 years just to do the chassis. Because
Hmm.
I'm not trying to make a concours car either, but um, it's just the way my brain is wired. I do better when I just kind of focus on one task, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, I would not make a very good rally mechanic, I don't think.
Yeah, it's definitely a very hectic and fast-paced environment, but it's
hmm
just you have to focus on the thing you're doing and worry about the next thing after. Just as long as I try to tell people slow is fast, but you have to be quick about it, really.
Yeah. Okay. Makes total sense. A couple of weeks ago, I heard an interview with Lance Smith, and he was talking about the importance of programs like they have at UNOH. And I think it's important, for these schools to teach I don't want to call them trades, but it's hands on, um, doing the mechanics. Everything is kind of you, you, you heard a lot of press about the trades and things kind of going away. It's not getting popular. So when you see people like Lance Smith and seeing the involvement of UNOH in rally, it kind of uh, makes you happy that those kinds of skills are coming back into the workforce.
Oh yeah, and it's definitely noticeable. I mean, 5, 10 years ago, the trades were definitely dying out, and
Mm-hmm.
now it seems like they're coming back around. Just seeing all of the guys I go to school with and all of our different programs, they're definitely making a comeback around because we have a diesel program, an agricultural program, an HVAC program, and there's kids coming in mass every other month to go to school here. So
That's
yeah,
terrific.
I'm definitely very happy to see hands-on and more basic skills come into play again for the workforce.
Right. And it also makes me think of, the right to repair kind of aspect of things too, where, if you get a car and you don't necessarily have to take it always to the dealership or somewhere to work on it, because some states, I guess, were trying to make it so you couldn't work on your own car, or.
Hmm.
And so it's a good, promising trajectory. I think the skills and craftspeople is
Yeah.
going. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely great, even just at a very base level of if you decide, hey, this isn't really my thing, you want to go into the more business sector,
Hmm.
you're still going to keep those hands-on skills of I have the confidence to work on my own car.
Right, because I think it's better when you go into business. No matter what it is, you have to know how everything works and how everything ties together, and that little bit of knowledge of how the manufacturing works, if you're in management or supply chain or what have you. It's good to have that knowledge, and I think it leads to more success. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
pretty
for
cool.
sure. Yeah, even if you're higher up in corporate, knowing how the average dealer tech is going to function and how he works, that already gives you a major leg up on everyone else.
Aside from graduating and getting um, a job crewing, do you have any aspirations of possibly driving or co-driving or even building your own car?
I do actually. Yeah, right now I'm driving 1994 Toyota Paseo, if you know what that is.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I've been just it's been my daily for a little over a year now, and I love that car. And I've taken it down some local gravel roads and whatnot,
Fun.
and I could just tell it would be a great chassis to rally on. The one thing that's kind of putting me off is that it is tiny, so there would not be much space in that car, especially with a cage and
Right.
everything else that goes into it. But yeah, I've kind of made up my mind to in the next few years get another daily and then just kind of start tearing apart the Paseo, and hopefully at some point it'll be ready as a stage rally car.
Nice. And don't worry about how tiny it is, because I think somebody had a Fiat 500 at Snowdrift, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, yeah, they did. I forget the name of the team, but one of my buddies worked for them.
Yeah. That's kind of fun. It's fun to see, yeah, all the different types of cars and everything that come to rally, and I
Yeah,
love that aspect of it. Or one, it's
yeah,
one aspect that I love of it.
yeah, that was kind of when I was first getting into it, that was kind of the first thing that caught my eye about rally was just the all the different vehicles they use. Like it's really diverse. It's not like road course racing where there's kind of a set amount of cars that were homologated to run in it.
Hmm.
It's just if you could pass scrutineering with it, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, and just focus on the safety aspects of it, and
Hmm.
you know, yeah. A few weeks ago, I talked with someone with a Chevrolet Corvair that he takes to rallycross. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun to see all the different cars too.
Oh yeah.
So, well, I really appreciate you taking the time, and I'm sure you have a busy class schedule and getting ready to graduate. Anything you're gonna look forward to maybe this summer in your time in between, or
Well, we actually we're actually year round, so this whole
oh,
summer
okay.
I'm just going to be doing the same thing, going to classes and going to rallies.
So all the way through October.
Yep, all the way through October. I'm just going to be going to classes and getting it done.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, Again, I really appreciate you taking the time today and coming on
Yeah,
and
yeah,
chatting
I
about the
appreciate it.
school and what you have going on. It's great. Like I said earlier, it's really encouraging to see um, these skills being taught and being able to apply them and getting into rally and having a potential work lined up already. It's really cool. So
Yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely a dream come true for me. Like ever since I really started getting into it, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to be doing with my life. And even in high school, when I started watching old footage,
hmm
I was like, man, it would be such a joy to crew for cars like that. Then I didn't know we had a scene over here, so I always thought it was kind of a far-fetched idea, but
hmm
it's becoming a reality. So
yeah,
it's really cool.
that's fantastic. And what I'd like to do is after you graduate and get kind of settled, let's circle back around and chat again and see how things went and how things are going. And
Yeah, anytime. I'd love to. And once again, thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
yeah, no problem. And have a good weekend. Thanks for doing this on a Saturday morning. And we'll be in touch. And I'll definitely be following you and seeing your progress.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Take care. Thank you for coming on again.
Yeah, have a good weekend.
You too. Bye. If you'd like to be on the podcast, you can email me, jim@jimboothdesigns.com, or message me through Facebook at Rallying in America, the Recce Podcast, or Instagram, rallying_in_America. Special thanks to Brady Instruments, pro-grade, handmade, professional fuel hydrometers. Visit bradyinstruments.com for all of your fuel testing needs. Thanks to Toontank and the artist Nuclear Wave for the podcast theme music.